Hi guys, the date is June 25th, 2026, and for this video, I haven't talked much about my family, and I thought it'd be worth just talking a little bit about them. And there's a lot of them, so I came from a family of seven, and just kind of I'm documenting a lot of stuff, but I want to do a little bit backstory as well because memories over time, they change, and it's not always as easy because you think you remember things, but in the moment it's very different. So this is kind of like a little backstory and a little information, just about me and my extended family, or not too extended. So first of all, mother, you know, very supportive, very, she let me drop out of high school, which was like really big at the time because I talked about why I dropped out of high school and how I had to drop out, I couldn't stay there. And she was okay with that and super supportive about it. And has always been supportive of my dreams. Even when I was in the digital finance space, she didn't really understand it, but she still supported me. Then my dad, super consistent, super reliable. He's a little bit more distant, but one time I got really drunk at a party, and on the way back, I blacked out, and then I woke up in the hospital, and I looked to my side and I saw my dad, and I just felt so safe because I was scared, I was vulnerable, I had just blacked out, I couldn't even tell what was going on. I'm in the hospital, and I open my eyes, I look to my side, I look at my dad, and I know like I'm fully safe, and just that feeling of feeling safe. And then I close my eyes and I wake up in my bed, and I'm like, that is like such a core belief that is like, yeah. So love my dad. Then I've got one older sister, or two older sisters who are twins. The oldest is going to become a doctor, and the other one is becoming an actor. And I'd say one of them specifically has really good energy, charisma, and like I've learned a lot from socially. And the other one, really good advice, where they both have good advice, and they're both really smart, and they kind of they were a really big part of my childhood, so they kind of shaped me partially into who I am today. And then two little sisters as well, different ages. They're both really fun and have a lot of good memories with them. I hope that I can do for them, or I've done for them, what my older sisters did for me. Then my grandpa, I talk a bit about him in the videos because now that I've moved out of the house, I don't want to go back in to rely on my parents, but my grandpa has always really been there for me. Even when I struggled socially, he's always been a friend that I can just hang out with, and he's very stable. He's very kind of the same thing every day. Got a little fucking, yeah. But yeah, he's very stable and always supportive, gives pretty decent advice, and love him. Then my grandma, I definitely turn to her for advice a lot. She's very successful in her field, and especially around relationship advice, she helps me out a lot. And then honorable mention, my aunt. She's always helped me out in the digital space and given me good advice, and again, someone I really like to hang out with. But yeah, so this is a bit of a shorter video. You can tell a few things off the bat. I grew up in a house full of women, two older sisters, two younger sisters, and my mom was kind of like at the decision maker. But I also had a really what I'd like to think of a really good, you know, I don't know if masculine influence is the right word, but a really good dad that I can learn from. And obviously, he wasn't as close, I don't want to say emotionally, but I didn't really need that when I have four sisters and a very attentive mother. He was exactly what I needed him to be. And same for my mother, you know. She, where my dad was more this stability, my mother was more supportive and took the actions that really helped me out. And again, let me drop out of high school, which was amazing because I thought like my parents would never let me do that. But, and then, yeah. But, you know, big family. Um, Definitely glad to move out of the house because a big family, it's very chaotic, a lot of drama. And yeah, I'm just glad to have my own space now, and I have a big family to go back to, a lot of relatives, and I'm just very, very lucky to have such an amazing family and such a stable family because I think I have a very growth mindset, and with this growth mindset, I am going to enjoy my life. I'm going to live life to the fullest and find fulfillment and contentment. But I also think that you come in based from your childhood and from what happens to you before you take responsibility for stuff and start solving your problems, you can create a lot of problems. And I've met people with a similar mindset who had an amazing environment growing up and very like even better than mine, and he is just like, I don't usually use the word aura, but well, you know, when he walks into a room people notice, and he is just like got this thing about him that is just like wow. But you know, we work with what we have. I've also seen a lot of people who have a similar mindset, but they had really hard childhoods, and so they're still working through a lot of that, you know. And so not like it's not about comparing, it's just about taking it as it is and then going from where you're at. But yeah, for this video, just wanted to talk a little bit about my family. Love them to death. And yeah, always supported me. And yeah, very great family. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about for this video. That's the end of the video.